this session, we're going to have a look at simple calculations, okay? We're going to be working on that holidays exercise that we had a look at yesterday, and just bear with me while I share my screen, and we'll pop it up on the screen for you. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got holiday costs, we've got discount, and we've got the amount that you're going to pay. So obviously this is going to be a subtraction. But before we get ahead of ourselves, okay, let's just think about how Excel copes with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, okay? So if you have a numeric keypad, okay, so again, depending on the technology that you're using, this might not be an option, but if you've got a proper keyboard, okay, over on your numeric keypad, you have got a plus, okay, which is for adding, a dash, okay, which is for subtracting, the multiplication sign is the asterisk, and the division sign is the forward slash, okay. If you haven't got a numeric keypad, you're going to use, on the keyboard, you're going to use you're holding your shift key down and using the same keys, plus, dash, asterisk, and forward slash, okay, on the numeric keys. And for your Mac and your Chromebook, again, it will probably be the function keys again. Okay, so if I wanted to add, let's just ignore the fact that this is we're actually doing a discount just now. Okay, if I wanted to add the values, two values together, okay, I could say equals, okay, formula always starts with an equals, and then I just click into the cell that I want to add first, okay, so I say equals, I'm going to click into F3 with a 50, I'm going to hit my plus, and then I'm going to hit into the next cell, okay, which is F4. So what I'm saying is I'm adding here the values F3 plus F4, okay, so the 50 plus the 56. I don't need any brackets, don't need anything fancy here, keep it simple. So it's straightforward, equals one cell plus another cell. And I just enter that in, okay, so we can see that the value is 106. If I go back into the cell, I can look at the formula bar up here, okay, and I can see quite clearly what the formula was. Okay, why we use the cell referencing is because if I change any of the values, if I change this one here to 98, okay, Excel automatically recalculates because what it's looking at is the figure within the cell and not just the actual figure itself. Okay, so if I wanted to divide, okay, the two of them together, okay, it would be, so we'll pop that one under here. So again, it would be equals to start the formula. Click into the first cell, 98, and then I want to pop in my asterisk, okay, for the multiplication, and I'm going to again multiply it by the value in F4. So we're keeping it nice and simple, okay, but the process is the same regardless of how complicated the formulae actually start to get. Okay, what I forgot to tell you was, for your keyboard, if you're using the numeric keypad, you must make sure that your numlock key is on, okay, otherwise you won't get these to work for you. Okay, so again, so we've added, we've multiplied. Let's divide this time. So equals 98 divided by is the forward slash, okay, the value in the cell F4, which is 56. Okay, and we're getting 1.75. Last but not least, let's subtract them. So again, equals one cell minus the value that's in another cell. Okay, it's as easy as that. I'm going to click and highlight all of these guys. I'm just going to delete them. Okay, hit the delete key. So for this particular exercise, okay, if the cost was £500 to go to Prague and the discount was 50, you're going to pay, so straightforward, equals the value in cell B3 minus the value that's in C3. Okay, so 500 minus 50, or B3 minus C3, okay, and we can work that out in our heads and know that it's 450, so we've got the right value. Okay, Excel's quite clever, okay, in the fact that what we can actually do now as well, I put the formula in once, okay, when I click back into the cell, okay, you can see that it's got a border around it and it's got a little box on the bottom right hand corner. If I position my mouse pointer, okay, with a skinny black cross is what I need, and if I hold my left mouse button down and drag, okay, Excel will populate the remaining cells with the correct formula. Okay, so if I click into row 4, you can see there that it's now B4 minus C4. Okay, B5 minus C5, B6 minus C6, B7 minus C7, and B8 minus C8. Okay, so this using the fill handle, okay, as it's called, is actually very, very useful. And I'll come back to the fill handle later. Okay, this works if I'm using the same formulae down a column or across a row. Okay, there are obviously also glitches with this, but that's again for another session. We'll come back to when you can use the fill handle and when you can't. Okay, but if I'm simply copying a formulae down one column or across a row, then I can use the fill handle. Okay, so that's your basic adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay, let's have a look also at some of the other functions we can put in. Okay, so I'm a bit old-fashioned, so I like to type my formulae. Okay, so if I want to add up all of the values that are in the cost column, or summing as Excel calls it, I would type in equals the sum, open brackets, click and drag over the range. Okay, so remember holding your left mouse button down as you drag, and then I just have to hit the enter key. Okay, I can pop that in again for the discount, equals the sum, open bracket. Click and drag over the range, hit my enter key. Same for column D, equals the sum, open brackets, click and drag, and hit my enter key. Note I don't have to put in the closing bracket, okay? So that's adding up the values in the column above. Okay, so I'm going to delete these out. Some of you will be used to using the auto sum. Okay, so if I click into the cell where I want the answer to go, I can use the auto sum, okay, the sigma icon, and I can say sum. Okay, and you see that it's filled out exactly the same as I had typed. Okay, so when I first learned Excel, there was no such thing as the auto sum, hence the reason I'm a bit old-fashioned and I type them in myself. Okay, the only difference is auto sum has automatically put the closing bracket, but I didn't need to do that. Okay, so remember the fill handle as well. Okay, so we've done equals sum, typing it in, you can see it here, and we've used the auto sum, okay, function. So what we can also do is we can again use the fill handle, okay, and I can again click and drag across the columns, and Excel will fill in the values for me by making the correct formulae. Okay, so we were saying sum of B3 to B8, drag it into column C, and it's C3 to C8, and then we're D3 to D8. Okay, some other ones that you can use. Let's see what the maximum value is, the minimum value, the average value, and a count. Okay, so again, you can use your auto sum. Okay, but this time I'm just going to type it in again, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to type it in and why I'm not using the auto sum. Okay, so equals max. Okay, you can use the abbreviation. You can also type in equals maximum if you want, but we'll keep it nice and simple. We can say equals max, click and drag over the range, B3 to B8 for the various costs. Hit my enter key, and then again I've got a value of 1200. Similarly, equals min. Click and drag, okay, over the range of values, B3 to B8. Always click and drag, guys, and don't type in the cell references, because you could make a mistake. Okay, when you're clicking and dragging, okay, you're eyeballing the information that you're using, so you're using the correct cells. Okay. Average, I'm afraid we have to type average in full. We can't use AVG. Okay, so we're going to type equals average, open brackets, and again, click and drag over the range. And a count, what a count does, okay, a count will just tell me how many cells within the range have a numeric value. Okay, so again, equals count, open brackets, click and drag. Oh, I've gone one too far, I can just change it there, B8. Okay, and then we can see that there are 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells within the range highlighted, okay, that have a numeric value. Okay, remember we spoke about perhaps rounding up the figures, okay, with decimals. Okay, so remember we looked at that, we're going to decrease the decimal. Okay, so it's put the 617.5, it's actually rounded it up to 618. Okay, so if I was going to use the auto sum functions, okay, when I click on here to say max, okay, sorry, when I highlight my range first of all, and then go to max, okay, see where it's popped it? Okay, it's popped it in there. It doesn't realise that I want my answer to go in here. I would have had to have selected all the way down, okay, including the blank row. Okay, so the problem with that is if I then wanted to put in another value in that cell, okay, that wasn't going to be part of the calculation. Okay, so you just need to be very, very careful, okay, when you are using the auto sum functions. Okay, it's fine if I wanted to use it right there, okay, in the very next cell, in the very next row, okay, but it's no harm for you to learn just to type in equals max, equals min, etc. Okay, so again, as I say, I've got my full handle, so I can just drag that across. Okay, so basically a variety of ways of doing the same thing, okay? Okay, so that's the very basic calculations. If I wanted to show the formulae on my screen, okay, I can go to formulas, because you might want to print this off, okay, to remind yourself. So you can go to, if I get rid of this floating toolbar, okay, well, I'll tell you, okay, here we go, formulas. I want to go to formulas. Get away, floating toolbar. Okay, I will click on formulas. Thank you very much. Okay, and we can say show formulas. Okay, so there you can see the formulas that we have used. You can click that back off again. So it's formulas, show to put on, and click on show again to take off. You can also use your keyboard, okay, if you're using Windows. So Control and the tilde, okay, on your keyboard. Okay, you can't see that for now, but the Control key, I hold the Control key down and I hit the tilde. Now the tilde is like a shoulder, okay, and it's next to the number 1 on your keyboard. So it's the very first key on the numeric row, okay. So it looks like a shoulder pad, okay. So there we go, Control and tilde. Okay, what else do I want to have a quick look at for you guys? Okay, I want to put a border on here. We spoke about borders and we haven't done anything about borders. Okay, if I wanted to put a border on, I'm going to put in here the word total. If I wanted to put a border around my table, okay, I'm just going to highlight this section here. Back to the Home tab, okay, and there's an icon for borders. Variety that you can use. I personally like all borders, okay, so then that just puts grid lines in between each of the cells. Okay, but another one that's quite nice for accounting purposes is the one that has a bottom double border. Okay, so I'm going to actually say top and double bottom. Okay, and if I click away this time, you can see that the total line has actually got double underscore. Okay, so that's quite nice. Okay, if I want to take them off again, I just say no borders, and that takes them off. Okay, so when we actually have a look at printing, if I have a border on the table, then I don't have to print with grid lines. Okay, if I have no border, I'd want to include my grid lines, and then that's going to give me the definitions between all the different rows and columns and different cells. Okay, one last thing before we go have a look at printing. Sorting. Sorting is quite important. Okay, if I have something like apple, pear, and banana, okay, I can select those 3 cells and I can come up to the A to Z on the Home tab in the editing section, and I can just click on A to Z, sort and filter, okay, and it's popped into apple, banana, and pear. I can then change the order and say I want it in descending order, pear, banana, and apple, okay. That works just using the A to Z, okay, sorting in ascending or descending order if I have only 1 column worth of data, okay. If I have a table, as we have here, okay, I need to select the whole table, okay, because we want each of the values for Prague, for instance. I want the cost and the discount and how much money I'm going to have to pay. I want that to be associated to Prague, and Florence's values to be associated with Florence. Okay, I don't include the title, which is holidays, but I do include the blank cell in column A2, cell A2, sorry. I click and drag. I don't want to include the total line because I don't want it to be slotted in alphabetically anywhere if that was the case. So you ignore the total line. We come up to sort and filter, and we're going to say custom sort. Okay, so my data has headers. Let me just move this out of the way. I want the tick to be in there because if not, okay, you see I'm either selecting it or deselecting it. When I say my data has headers, then it's again not going to include that row within the sorting. Okay, you can add various levels. We'll come back to that at a later stage. We're just going to keep it nice and simple for now. And I just want to say sort by column, okay, which hasn't got a name, remember? Okay, so it's just by sort by column A. Cell values A to Z. Okay, so it's put it into alphabetical order of the holiday destination. Okay, I could have also said sort and filter, custom sort. I could have said I actually wanted it by how much money we're paying, okay? And I get the option there, smallest to largest or largest to smallest, okay? So I'm going to say smallest to largest. So there you can see which is going to be the cheapest holiday option for me. Okay, so that's how to sort. Okay, to sort a table with more than one column and various rows. Okay, if I wanted to print, okay, I click on File and I have the option for printing. Okay, I would select the printer that I wanted to print to. Okay, you can print the active sheet. Okay, or if we had more than one sheet, okay, we could say print entire workbook, or you can select just a portion of text and say just print the selection. But we would say print active sheet here for now. Okay, you can see that it's going on to 2 pages. So at best, I'd want to say, put it into landscape orientation. Just thinking about it. Okay, so there we have. I put it into change the orientation to landscape. The only other thing you'd want to do, perhaps, is again, even if I put it into landscape, and it might still, maybe one column or one row is going on to a second page. I can go into scaling and I can say fit sheet on 1 page. Okay, and it'll automatically do it for me without me having to go back into the document and change the font sizes and things like that. Okay, so you can just say fit sheet on 1 page. The last thing we're going to want to do is go into page setup. Okay, again, this is where I can adjust it, fit from one onto 1 sheet. Okay, I can change it to landscape or portrait from in here as well. I can add a header and footer. We'll come back to headers and footers. And what I would want to go is the sheet tab. Okay, because I don't have a border on this now. So I want to go into the sheet tab to say, add my grid lines. And it will pop the grid lines on. Okay, so when I print it, my table's going to have some kind of structure to it. Okay, so I'm going to click back again. If I wanted to print my formulas, okay, I'm going to put my formulae on. You might have to widen the column, but these are okay, they're all visible. So I would just say File and I would say Print. I would do everything I needed to do if necessary. I would say print the active sheet, put it into landscape, scale it if necessary, but I'm going to go back into page setup and I am going to say fit to 1 sheet, 1 page by 1 page wide by 1 page tall, as opposed to doing it from the scaling there. And I'm going to click on the sheet tab, and this time I want to say row and column headings. Okay, when I click on row and column headings, okay, so this is what kind of thing you would be doing if you were sending this in to me as an assessment file, okay, for me to mark. Okay, it will pop in eventually, hopefully, it's going to pop in column A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and also all the row numbers, okay, so that I would actually be able to see when I look there, the sum of B3 to B8, I can easily see that, yes, that is column B, and these are the rows 3 to 8. Okay, so that's the process. It's thinking about it, it's not liking it, probably because I'm not connected to the printer, because this is my network machine. So I'm going to try and come back. I'm going to hang it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing, and that's the end of this video. Thank you very much.